Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And please turn on the notification bell. That way, every time I upload a video, you'll be the first one to see it. Let's get into it. What we're going to talk about, we talk about celebrity news, celebrity gossip, what's going on IG and Google, fair use, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. And don't forget, the Cash App is Let's Talk About It Media. And thank you for your love and support. So don't forget to like, to comment. Best way to support the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe.
The High Court's decision, they ruled 6-3 in favor of the designer who didn't want to make websites for same-sex couples. What's your reaction, and what do you have to say to Major's point just now about that concern that this is going to lead to further eradication of rights?
I mean, I think what this is the beginnings of a license to discriminate against LGBTQ folks in America. This has been something that the court has wanted to do. They signaled last year in the Dobbs decision that they were coming after our marriages. Clarence Thomas specifically spoke about the Obergefell decision. And I think this is a step in the direction of doing that, of continuing to push us as second-class citizens, as continuing to make us discriminated against. This is legalizing discrimination for this particular company in this particular instance. So who's to say that down the line there aren't going to be signs in storefronts that says we don't serve gays or we don't serve the LGBTQ community? I think it's a slippery slope, and I think that the Supreme Court made a really bad decision as opposed to continuing to expand rights for the American people. What they're doing in these past couple of days and year actually is start to remove our rights as American citizens.
The High Court's decision, they ruled 6.
So I'm going to combine a few different news media. So let's go to the next part of the news.
This week, the hypocritical and corrupt Supreme Court struck down affirmative action. I call them corrupt because this is on the tail end of two of them being found to have received gifts from billionaires who may have business to come before the Supreme Court. Affirmative action, as many of us know, is a policy designed to level the playing field for Black and brown students whom have historically been denied an equal education, and also to create a diverse student population that advances positive race relations among all the races, particularly amongst what we're going through now. With the belief it is, if you diversify a campus, that we'll know each other. And we won't fear each other. Different cultures will know each other. And they won't buy into the negative stereotypes that they see on the 5 o'clock news that paints Black and brown people as more destructive than they are. And so that's what we need to learn of each other, because if you see it on the 5 o'clock news, but you see more of it on your campus, you know that Black folks, brown folks, and others aren't the stereotypes that you've heard or that you see. That's why we must come together and create that diverse environment. So, however, the decision didn't change the policy for diversity in the military.
I guess he was going to say the military.
Well, let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action. I went to a school no one had ever heard of in Denver, Colorado, in a small suburb. I didn't go to Exeter or Andover. I didn't have college test prep. I just happened to be really nerdy and smart and have really good grades and good SAT scores. Right. But someone came to Denver, Colorado to look for me. A Harvard recruiter flew to Denver, and I met up with her at the Village Inn restaurant and did a pre-interview to get to pull me into Harvard. I was pulled in, and the schools like Harvard and Yale that I got into affirmatively.
Yes.
And it was literally not saying we're going to take an unqualified person and put them in Harvard. Yes. We're going to take a very qualified person who we would never know existed and put them in Harvard. That's how I got there. That's how Ketanji got there. That's how Justice Jackson, I should say. Justice Jackson got there. It's how Clarence Thomas got there.
Right.
But the minute I arrived from my majority black little town, Montbello in Denver, to Harvard, the first week or two that I was in class, my presence was questioned by white people. I was in this big conference class where some white students stood up and said, those students, the black students, they're only here because of affirmative action. It became a huge argument that we all ended up having. This was freshman year. I had never had my academic credentials questioned. I had never had anyone question whether I was intelligent until I got to Harvard. And it was a defining point of my experience there. It's why I really was one of the many reasons I was miserable there my freshman year.
Yeah.
You felt completely out of place, and people keep telling you shouldn't be here. And yet, some of the people I went to school with were far less smart than me or the other black folk there. They got in because their daddy and their granddaddy. I went to school with somebody whose name was on one of the buildings. You're going to school with people whose names are on the buildings, who are third and fourth generation legacies, whose parents pumped money into Harvard to get them in. But that affirmative action is okay with this majority. They said that the people who benefited from slavery, their descendants, who are so far ahead of black folk in terms of opportunity, that will never catch up to them. I don't care how many Oprahs we get. Those people's affirmative action is A-okay, because those people can pay for fancy trips for them.
Yeah.
But you people who want to get in just because of your brains, but you're not from a legacy, too bad. You can't come in.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great day.